Have you ever met someone who can spot a speck of dust on your shelf from across the room, or who seems to have a secret mission to make everything in life just a little more organized? Chances are, you've crossed paths with a Virgo, the zodiac sign that's equal parts practical genius and lovable oddball. Welcome to our deep dive into 15 reasons why Virgo is so weird, where we're peeling back the layers of this earth sign to reveal what makes them so uniquely fascinating. Born between August 23rd and September 22nd, Virgos are ruled by Mercury, the planet that fuels their sharp minds and knack for details, but don't let that fool you into thinking they're all work and no play. These folks have a quiet kind of weirdness that sneaks up on you, like when they rearrange your spice rack just because it felt off, or spend an hour perfecting a playlist for a 5-minute car ride. If you're a Virgo watching this, get ready to nod along and maybe laugh at how spot on this is, and if you've got a Virgo in your life, maybe a friend, a sibling, or that coworker who always has the best pens, you're about to understand why they're so hard to figure out yet impossible not to love. Even if you're just here because you're curious about astrology or stumbled across this video while scrolling, stick around, because Virgos have a charm that pulls you in, whether you're into star signs or not. Think of this as a cozy chat, like we're catching up over a latte, swapping stories about the Virgos who make our lives a little neater and a lot more interesting. So, what's in store? We've got 15 reasons that capture the magic of Virgos' quirks, from their obsession with getting things just right to the way they'll surprise you with a dry joke or a heartfelt gesture when you least expect it. We'll explore why they can't help but notice every tiny detail, how their love for lists borders on art, and even why they're tougher on themselves than anyone else. It's going to be a fun, eye-opening ride full of moments that'll make you smile, maybe say wow, that's so them, and definitely appreciate the Virgos who bring their special brand of awesome to the world. Grab a snack, settle in, and let's get started uncovering why Virgos are the zodiac's most delightfully weird perfectionists. 1. They're obsessed with perfection. Let's kick things off with reason 1, Virgos are absolutely obsessed with perfection, and it's the kind of weird that makes you both marvel and chuckle. These folks don't just aim for good enough, they're on a mission to make everything flawless, whether it's a work project, a dinner recipe, or even the way they fold their socks. It's like they've got an internal checklist that's never fully satisfied, pushing them to tweak and refine until it's just right. I had a Virgo friend who decided to host a game night, and instead of throwing some snacks on the table, she spent hours arranging charcuterie boards to look like they belonged in a magazine. When I teased her about it, she just shrugged and said it wasn't perfect yet, as if perfection was a casual Tuesday goal. That drive can make them seem a bit intense, especially if you're more of a go-with-the-flow type who's fine with a slightly messy outcome. They'll proofread a text message 3 times before hitting send or rearrange their desk until every pen is aligned, and you might wonder why they care so much about the tiny stuff. But here's the beautiful part, that obsession is what makes them so dependable. When a Virgo's in charge, you know the job's getting done right, no corners cut. Sure, their quest for the ideal can feel a little weird, but it's also what turns ordinary moments into something polished and special, leaving everyone around them grateful for their care. 2. They notice every little detail. Now for reason 2, Virgos notice every little detail, and it's like they've got a superpower for spotting what everyone else misses. Whether it's a smudge on your glasses, a typo in a menu, or the fact that you've been wearing the same jacket 3 days in a row, nothing slips past their radar. It's not about being nosy, their Mercury-ruled minds are just wired to scan the world like a high-definition camera, picking up on the tiniest quirks. I remember working on a group presentation with a Virgo classmate who paused our rehearsal to point out that one slide had a font size off by 2 points. At first, I thought she was joking, but she fixed it, and honestly, it made the whole thing look sharper. That's the Virgo magic, they catch the stuff you didn't even know was wrong, and they do it with this quiet confidence that's hard to argue with. If you're not used to it, their hawk-like focus can seem a bit weird, like they're secretly auditing your life for errors. But once you see it in action, you realize it's a gift. They're the ones who'll remind you your car's due for an oil change or notice you're feeling off before you say a word. Their attention to detail isn't just about perfection, it's about caring deeply, making sure everything and everyone is at their best. That kind of awareness is rare, and it's what makes Virgos such unsung heroes in our everyday chaos. 3. They love lists like it's their job. Reason 3 is a classic. Virgos love lists like it's their actual job, and their devotion to organizing life on paper is both adorable and a little wild. Give a Virgo a pen and a notebook, and they'll whip up a to-do list, a grocery list, or even a ranking of their favorite podcasts faster than you can say spreadsheet. It's not just about staying on track, they find a strange kind of joy in mapping out every step, often with neat handwriting or color-coded highlighters for extra flair. I had a Virgo cousin who showed up to a family barbecue with a checklist for side dishes, complete with time slots for when the potato salad should hit the table. When I asked why she didn't just wing it, she looked at me like I'd suggested chaos as a lifestyle. For Virgos, lists are their shield against the unpredictable, a way to tame the world one bullet point at a time. If you're someone who forgets where you parked your car, their level of planning might seem weird, like they're preparing for a mission instead of a Tuesday. But let's be real, those lists are a lifesaver. They're the reason your group trip goes off without a hitch or why their fridge is always stocked with exactly what you need. Their list-making obsession might make you giggle, but it's also what keeps the wheels turning smoothly, turning their weird habit into a quiet kind of brilliance we all secretly appreciate. 4. They're secretly super critical. Here's reason 4. Virgos are secretly super critical, and it's a quirk that hides behind their calm, helpful demeanor. Don't get me wrong, they're not out here throwing shade for fun, but their brain is always sizing things up, holding themselves and the world to a sky-high standard. They'll notice if your presentation slides aren't aligned or if the soup you made could use a pinch more salt, and while they might not say it out loud, they're definitely thinking it. I had a Virgo roommate who gently suggests ways to improve my morning routine, like how stacking dishes a certain way saves counter space. At first, I rolled my eyes, but then I tried it, and yeah, she was right. That's the thing with Virgos, their critiques, even the silent ones, come from a place of wanting everything to be better, not from judgment. They're just as hard on themselves, replaying their own choices to see where they could have done more. If you're not ready for it, their quiet analysis can seem a bit weird, like they've got an internal report card for life. But once you get it, you see the love behind it. They're not trying to nitpick, they're trying to help you shine, even if it's just by reorganizing your pantry. That hidden critical streak is what makes them so thoughtful, turning their weird habit into a way of lifting everyone up, one tiny tweak at a time. 5. They're low-key control freaks. Reason 5 dives into another Virgo gem. They're low-key control freaks, and it's the kind of weird that's both impressive and amusing. Virgos thrive when they've got a handle on every detail, from how a group project is divvied up to the exact placement of their coffee mug on their desk. If things start veering off their carefully laid plans, you might catch a flicker of panic in their eyes, like the universe just betrayed them. I knew a Virgo who organized a movie night with military precision, snacks assigned, seating planned, even a backup film in case we didn't vibe with the first pick. When someone suggested switching to a random TV show instead, she smiled, but you could tell she was mentally rewriting her entire strategy. It's not about being bossy, they just feel safest when they're steering the ship, making sure every wave is accounted for. If you're a fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants type, their need to orchestrate can seem a bit weird, like they're allergic to spontaneity. But here's why it's awesome: their control freak tendencies mean things actually get done, and done well. They're the ones who make sure the road trip has snacks, the party has enough chairs, and your big idea doesn't crash and burn. Their knack for keeping it together is a quiet superpower, making their weirdness the glue that holds our messy lives in place. 6. They overanalyze everything. Let's move on to reason 6. Virgos overanalyze everything, and it's like their minds are running a never-ending detective show. Whether it's a casual comment from a friend or the logistics of a weekend getaway, they'll break it down into a million tiny pieces, searching for hidden meanings or potential pitfalls. It's not that they're paranoid, their Mercury-ruled brains just can't help but dissect every detail like it's a code to crack. I had a Virgo buddy who got a simple text from his boss saying nice work, and he spent the whole evening wondering if it was genuine praise or a subtle hint to step it up. By the time he explained his mental flowchart to me, I was exhausted just listening. That's the Virgo way. They'll replay conversations, weigh every possible outcome, and maybe even draft a pros and cons list in their head before making a move. If you're someone who takes things at face value, their deep dives can seem a bit weird, like they're turning a molehill into a mountain for no reason. But here's the flip side: that overthinking makes them incredible at solving problems. They're the ones you call when you need a plan B, C, and D, because they've already thought 10 steps ahead. Sure, their brain's constant buzzing might make you want to tell them to chill, but it's also what makes them so reliable, turning their weird habit into a superpower that saves the day when life gets tricky. 7. They're weirdly practical. Reason 7 is all about how Virgos are weirdly practical, and it's the kind of quirk that makes you appreciate their grounded nature. While some folks chase flashy trends or daydream about big risks, Virgos are over here choosing the sensible option every time, like they've got an internal compass pointing to what actually works. They'll pick a reliable car over a shiny one, pack an umbrella even if the forecast says sunny, and probably have a budget app on their phone that they check daily. I knew a Virgo who showed up to a camping trip with a backpack that was basically a survival kit, extra batteries, a multi-tool, even a tiny sewing kit for emergencies. When I laughed and asked why she brought so much, she just said you never know, and sure enough, we used half of it by day 2. It's not about being boring, their earth sign roots make them prioritize function over flair, and they're proud of it. If you're more of a live-in-the-moment type, their practical streak can seem a bit weird, like they're planning for a crisis during a Netflix marathon. But that's what makes them so clutch. They're the ones who remember to bring sunscreen to the beach or have a spare charger when your phone dies. Their down-to-earth approach might raise an eyebrow, but it's also what keeps everyone around them prepared and cared for, turning their weirdness into a quiet kind of genius we all lean on. 8. They have a secret soft side. Now for reason 8, Virgos have a secret soft side that catches you by surprise under their cool, collected exterior. On the surface, they're all about logic and order, fixing problems and keeping things tidy, but deep down, they've got a heart that feels everything intensely, they just don't always show it. Instead of big declarations, they express their care through quiet gestures that hit you right in the feels. I had a Virgo colleague who seemed all business, always on top of deadlines, but when I was stressed about a big meeting, she left a perfectly brewed cup of tea on my desk with a little note saying "You've got this." She brushed it off like it was nothing, but it meant the world. That's classic Virgo, they'll go out of their way to support you, whether it's helping with a task or just being there, without making a fuss. If you only know their analytical side, this hidden warmth can seem a bit weird, like they're playing tough to hide a marshmallow core. But that's what makes them so special. Their softness isn't flashy, it's steady, showing up when you need it most, like a friend who knows exactly how to make a bad day better. Their understated kindness is the kind of weird that warms your heart, reminding you that behind their checklists and critiques is someone who cares more than they'll ever let on. 9. They're hygiene freaks. Reason 9 is a fun one. Virgos are total hygiene freaks, and their love for cleanliness is both impressive and a little quirky. Whether it's their sparkling kitchen counter, their alphabetized skincare routine, or the fact that they always have hand sanitizer within reach, they treat tidiness like it's an art form. They're not just cleaning for looks, they genuinely feel better when their space is spotless, like chaos is their personal kryptonite. I had a Virgo neighbor who invited me over for pizza, and before we dug in, she whipped out a cloth to wipe down the table, even though it already looked pristine. When I teased her, she laughed and said a clean space clears the mind, like it was the most obvious thing ever. That's the Virgo mindset. If there's a crumb or a smudge, they're on it, and they'll probably reorganize your spice rack while they're at it. If you're more of a creative mess type, their obsession with order can seem a bit weird, like they're auditioning for a cleaning commercial. But here's why it's awesome, their tidy habits create a calm vibe that everyone benefits from. They're the ones whose homes feel like a sanctuary or who make sure the group Airbnb stays livable. Their hygiene fixation might make you smile, but it's also what makes them the unsung heroes of any shared space, keeping things fresh and inviting. 10. They're workaholics in disguise. Reason 10 dives into how Virgos are workaholics in disguise, and it's a weirdness that sneaks up on you. They might not brag about burning the midnight oil, but give them a task, and they'll pour their soul into it, even when everyone else is clocking out. They're the ones tweaking a spreadsheet on a Saturday or mentally planning their next project while binge-watching a show. I knew a Virgo who went on a beach vacation, and while the rest of us were building sandcastles, she was answering work emails on her phone, claiming it was just a quick check. By day 3, she'd reorganized the rental house's pantry during her downtime, because relaxing fully just isn't her thing. It's not about ambition for glory, their earth sign drive makes them feel alive when they're productive, like checking off a goal is their version of a dopamine hit. If you're someone who lives for lazy Sundays, their hustle can seem a bit weird, like they've got an invisible boss breathing down their neck. But that's what makes them shine. They're the ones who nail every deadline, make sure the team's on track, and still find time to help you with your own work. Their sneaky workaholic vibe is the kind of weird that inspires, showing you what's possible when dedication meets a quiet passion for doing things right. 11. They're secretly hilarious. Reason 11 is a gem. Virgos are secretly hilarious, and their humor is the kind that catches you off guard with its cleverness. They might come off as serious or reserved at first, but once they're comfortable, they'll drop a dry, perfectly timed quip that has everyone doubled over. Their wit is subtle, often laced with sarcasm or a sly observation that hits just right. I was at a boring office party with a Virgo coworker who seemed quiet, but when someone spilled dip on the carpet, she muttered something about it being the real guest of honor, and I nearly choked on my drink laughing. That's their style, they don't need a spotlight to land a joke, they just slip it in like it's no big deal. It's not loud or showy, but once you catch their rhythm, you're hooked, waiting for the next singer. If you're used to their practical side, this comedic streak can seem a bit weird, like they've been hiding a stand-up routine under their planner. But that's the charm, their humor sneaks up, making tense moments lighter and dull days brighter. They're proof you don't need to be the loudest in the room to steal the show, and their quiet hilarity is the kind of weird that keeps you smiling long after the punchline lands. 12. They hate chaos. Let's dive into reason 12. Virgos hate chaos with a passion, and it's a quirk that makes their love for order stand out in the funniest way. Whether it's a cluttered desk, a last-minute change of plans, or a sink full of dishes, anything that feels messy sends them into fix-it mode faster than you can blink. They're like human vacuum cleaners for disorder, swooping in to tidy up the world one misplaced item at a time. I had a Virgo friend who came over to watch a movie, and before we even hit play, she was straightening my throw pillows and organizing the coasters on my coffee table. When I laughed and asked what she was doing, she just said it helps her focus, like a neat space was the key to enjoying popcorn. That's the Virgo deal, they see chaos as a personal challenge, something to tame with their practical magic. If you're someone who thrives in a bit of clutter or loves impromptu adventures, their aversion to mess can seem a bit weird, like they're allergic to spontaneity itself. But here's why it's awesome, their knack for creating calm out of craziness is a gift. They're the ones who make sure the group project stays on track or turn a hectic day into something manageable with a quick reorganization. Their chaos-hating ways might make you giggle, but they're also what make them the rock we all lean on when life feels like a whirlwind. 13. They're always helping others. Reason 13 is all about how Virgos are always helping others, and it's a kind of weird that's as heartwarming as it gets. They're the unsung heroes who spot a need before anyone else and jump in to fix it, often without making a big deal about it. Whether it's proofreading your cover letter, picking up your coffee order when you're swamped, or offering advice that's scarily spot on, they've got your back in ways that feel effortless. I knew a Virgo who noticed our friend group was stressed about a big event and quietly took over booking the venue, coordinating schedules, and even bringing extra snacks, all while shrugging it off like it was just another Tuesday. It's not about seeking praise, their earth sign nature drives them to serve, like helping is wired into their DNA. If you're not paying attention, their constant support can seem a bit weird, like they've got a secret agenda to make everyone's life better. But that's the beauty of it, they don't need applause to keep giving. They'll spend hours teaching you how to budget or stay late to help you pack for a move, and it's all because they care. Their selfless streak is the kind of weird that makes you feel lucky to know them, turning every small gesture into a reminder that they're always in your corner, ready to lend a hand. 14. They're hard on themselves. Reason 14 gets real, Virgos are hard on themselves, and it's a quirk that shows just how much they care about getting things right. Behind their calm, put-together vibe is a mind that's always second-guessing, replaying moments to spot where they could have done better. A tiny slip-up, like forgetting a deadline or misplacing their keys, can send them into a spiral of self-criticism that most people would just brush off. I had a Virgo classmate who aced a group project but spent the whole car ride home stressing about one slide she thought wasn't clear enough, even though everyone else was thrilled. It's like they hold themselves to an invisible standard that's tougher than anything they'd expect from others. They'll stay up late perfecting a hobby or beat themselves up for not being productive enough on a random Sunday. If you're someone who lets mistakes slide, their intense self-reflection can seem a bit weird, like they're their own toughest coach. But here's the thing, that drive to improve is what fuels their growth. It's why they're always leveling up, whether it's mastering a new skill or becoming a better friend. Their self-critical streak might make you want to give them a hug, but it's also what makes them so inspiring, showing that their weirdness comes from a heart that's always striving to be its very best. 15. They're uniquely awesome. We've reached reason 15, the grand finale of our list. Virgos are uniquely awesome, and their weirdness is the secret sauce that makes them unforgettable. Take everything we've covered, their laser focus on details, their quiet kindness, their knack for turning chaos into order, and you've got a zodiac sign that's like no other. They're the ones who make life better in ways you don't always notice at first, like a steady hand guiding you through the storm. I think of my Virgo aunt, who'd spend hours planning family dinners, making sure every dish was perfect and every guest felt included, all while cracking subtle jokes that kept us laughing. She wasn't loud about it, but her presence made everything warmer, more grounded, like she was the glue holding us together. That's what Virgos do, they blend practicality with heart, seriousness with humor, creating a vibe that's both comforting and inspiring. They'll push themselves to the limit, help you without asking for credit, and still find time to reorganize their closet for fun. It's not about fitting in, they're too busy being themselves, quirks and all, to worry about blending with the crowd. If you try to pin down what makes them tick, you'll see it's their ability to care so deeply while staying so down-to-earth. Sure, their weirdness might catch you off guard, like when they alphabetize their books or stress over a minor detail, but that's their magic. Virgos teach us that being true to yourself, lists, critiques, and all, is what makes you shine. They're the Zodiac's hidden gems, proving that weird is just another word for extraordinary. Alright, friends, we've come to the end of our journey through the 15 reasons why Virgos are so wonderfully weird, and wow, what a trip it's been. Let's take a moment to look back at the Virgo magic we've uncovered. We've laughed about their quest for perfection, marveled at how they spot every tiny detail, and grinned at their love for lists that could rival a novel. We've seen their sneaky critical side, their quiet control freak moments, and the way they overthink life's smallest puzzles. They're practical to a fault, hide a soft heart under their logic, and keep their spaces cleaner than a showroom. Don't forget their secret workaholic vibes, their dry humor that sneaks up on you, or how they'll wrestle chaos into submission like it's their day job. And let's not overlook their endless help for others, their tough self-standards, and that one-of-a-kind awesomeness that ties it all together. Virgos are like a perfectly brewed cup of coffee, strong, comforting, and just what you need, even if it comes with a few quirks. Now, I want you to think about the Virgos in your world. Maybe you're one, always striving to make things better, or you know someone who's forever fixing what's broken with a smile. They're the ones who make our days smoother, our plans tighter, and our hearts fuller, and that's something worth celebrating. So, here's where you get to join the fun. If you're a Virgo, hop into the comments and tell me which of these reasons made you laugh or nod. Do you live for lists or secretly crack yourself up? If you've got a Virgo friend, sibling, or coworker, tag them and see if they agree with our list. I'm betting they'll love the shout-out. And this isn't just for Virgo fans. Drop your own zodiac sign below and share a story about a time a Virgo saved your day or left you shaking your head. I'm all ears for your cosmic tales, so let's keep the conversation going. If you had a good time today, give this video a big thumbs up. It helps more people find our zodiac adventures. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you're the first to catch our next video, because we've got tons more star sign stories to share, from fiery Aries to dreamy Pisces. Tell me in the comments what sign you want to explore next. I'm taking notes. Thanks for hanging out with me on this Virgo vibe check. It's been a blast getting to know these amazing weirdos with you. Keep being your awesome selves, stay kind, and I'll see you soon for more astrology fun. Take care out there.